So today we're inside of a sublimation shop, and you may be wondering, what are we gonna learn today? Well, in our previous video that we talked about starting a sportswear brand with sublimation printing, a lot of you guys had questions in regards to what is the best printing method for your brand? Should you use sublimation? Should you use screen printing? Or should you consider heat transfers? In this video, we're gonna be breaking down all three in order to help you bring clarity to how you can use them in the different scenarios for your collection or brand. So if you guys are a new visitor to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on those post notification bells to be alerted of future video drops. On this channel, our mission is to bring clarity to business and help entrepreneurs build brands that impact the world from the ground up. So let's get started with what sublimation is and really how you can use it. So right in front of us right here, you see this different design, right? The very first thing that you'll notice is that the fabric is a polyester fabric. So sublimation printing is great for polyester materials, and it really works best for anything that's pre-cut. Anything that you're really putting together for like sportswear. It works great with jerseys, any team athletics, anything that really has a polyester build into it. Sublimation printing really is great for that. And the reason for that is that sublimation printing works in a very unique way. Essentially, these big printers print out the sheets of paper that have the ink and the design that you guys send to the shop. Through that paper, it then gets pressed onto the fabric, a white roll of fabric, and then the ink adheres with heat and pressure. So now the design literally is embedded into the fabric. So it's not something that lives on top, it really lives in the material. And that's the reason why it works great for these types of products like yoga pants, socks, and underwear. It really does give you the ability to fully customize it. Because if you were working with a pre-made product, let's say you wanted to use a jersey that you bought off the shelf, and you want to do a sublimation printing on the entire design, the issue that you're going to have is all the wrinkles that are naturally in the material are going to show up as white, and it's not going to look that clean. So in order to do sublimation right, you truly have to build a product from scratch, which requires producing the patterns and working with a sublimation shop such as the one here that will help bring that design and vision to life. Now, another thing to consider about sublimation printing is that most print shops are really geared around sportswear and the products that we just mentioned. Because the reality is that the orders that you're gonna need to do are somewhere between 10 to 50 to start. So sublimation printing really is based around those minimum order quantities, and anything less than that is gonna be a higher sampling fee. And sublimation printing works great for almost any size. Rolls of fabric come between 59, 60 inches height, and you're able to literally print on the entire fabric roll in order for you to get that entire design in. When it comes to working with sublimation, an important thing to note about it is that you do need to have a polyester fabric. Now, you can get away with using a polycotton mix such as a 60-40, but your design isn't gonna be as crisp or visually, like color-wise, it's not gonna come out the same. It's gonna look a little faded. And another major con of that is that it's not the best for completed products. So you really have to think about sublimation as something that you're building from the ground up, or perhaps are working with a supplier that already has the templates for you, and you're just dropping in those designs to those templates. Like, let's say hockey jerseys, soccer jerseys, basketball, those kinds of items are gonna work really well, but if you're building something from scratch, you need to have your patterns right and your design set, and they'll be able to cut it and print it and sew it up all together. Now, as we mentioned, sublimation works great for anything that you guys are pre-cutting and pre-made, which means that you really have to focus on the types of fabrics and materials that you're going to be making your products from. But when it comes to screen printing allows you to truly print on almost any kind of product. Whether it's t-shirts, whether it's bags, whether it's pantsuits, nylon, it really is versatile. And this is really where quality blanks such as the ones from Bella Canvas truly come into play for your brand. You see, by registering and purchasing from Bella Canvas or requesting them from print shops, you're able to get almost any kind of design and color, feel and fit, poly blends, all cotton, heather, whatever you guys can imagine in regards to your blanks, Bella Canvas is available to supply them. So make sure you guys check out the links in the description right down below to get started on checking out some of their designs from their latest collections, as well as some of the wholesale staples that they have available for your brand. Now, when it comes to screen printing, one of the things that you guys have to consider is the minimum order quantities required. Because screen printing involves you having to create physical screens as well as apply them to the actual presses, you have to keep in mind that print shops are going to have a higher minimum order quantity per design. Now, when it comes to sublimation, you could quickly change those designs and essentially apply different different team numbers onto your jerseys. Sublimation is very versatile the way it just works. When it comes to screen printing, it's pretty straightforward. When you're working on products such as the one that you see on us, like this is an FTGU logo tee, so that means that it was a single color. And then we also did a design on the back where it was more of a, down the middle. Now, this is great applications for single color screen print, and the cost of it is going to be way less expensive than if you were going a different route. But if you have multiple colors on your designs, then now you're creating multiple screens to complete that, which means that you're going to need a higher minimum order quantity. And this is where screen printing is really a bottleneck if you're trying to customize your products. Screen printing starts at around, on average, most print shops will want at least 36 units. Some will want as much as 100 in order to really make it worth their time. So keep that in mind when it comes to screen printing, is that it does have a minimum order quantity that could limit your customability for your brand's collection. But it does have lower price points. So screen printing truly is a great option when it comes to staple pieces that you guys are looking for. Something that you're looking to sell and that you know is going to sell, so you have that nice profit margin. Because versus sublimation, sublimation is going to have a little higher cost if you're going with a lower volume. As you scale up, then obviously your prices are going to drop. But screen printing, you know what you can expect when it comes to pricing and quantities. So plan accordingly when it comes to creating designs with a screen print in mind. Now, if you're looking for flexibility in your designs as well as in the creation of your products, this is where heat transfers, such as the ones by Supacolor, really come into play. Now, the beauty about heat transfer printing is that the company like Supacolor will send you the full color design, whatever design it is that you decided to use, whether it's a gradient, almost any size, so it almost really mimics screen printing at this case. And the beauty about it, in addition to that, is that there's also very low minimum order quantities. So you could really get started and start printing things in a more DIY fashion. Now, when I say DIY, this applies to entrepreneurs, but also to print shops. So let's just say you get a job in there that doesn't necessarily fit your minimum order quantities, but you also want to be able to service those customers. Now, this is where these heat transfers will really come into play, because all you really need to do is order those heat transfers in. They come in within a few days, you press them, and then you ship them out the door. Now, another really cool part about heat transfers is that it can work on almost any garment, on almost any product. So whether you guys want to do t-shirts, jackets, bags, or even headwear, this is really where heat transfers shine, because it applies to almost any garment that you could really think of. Now, the cons with heat transfer printing, though, is the fact that you do need to have equipment that you'll be able to use to properly control the pressure and the temperature. A lot of times when you're using heat transfers, there's a lot of testing involved. So the more you get those specs dialed in up front, you're now able to just throw in any other garment. It's a plug and play, because you're able to control the temperatures and the pressures. But that is a con, because you do need to have a certain kind of heat press as well as a certain kind of hat press to help you control that and truly streamline the production. It can be a guessing game if you're doing everything manually. So that is an honest con to using heat transfers. But as a print shop, these should be something that you already have in-house. So consider using heat transfer printing in order to combine it with the rest of your production and to really expand your product offering. So right now you may be wondering, what is the best printing method for my brand? Should I be using screen printing? Should I be using heat transfers or sublimation? What is the best quality? And to that, guys, I really do answer genuinely. It's really gonna depend on the materials that you're using for your prints and for your designs and for your collections. And what I mean by that is the quality of heat transfer is really gonna dictate how well it's gonna hold up in washes, how well the color is really gonna shine through the different materials that you're using it on. For that reason, we highly encourage that you guys check out Supacolor. They've really created something that's a patented system that is a game changer in the industry that gets you a quality screen print feel with a full color capability and really good flexibility. When it comes to wholesale blanks and products that you may be using to apply those methods, then Bella Canvas is a supplier that you should definitely consider using, and both of them are going to be linked in the description down below. Now, as we mentioned, there's flexibility in how you're going to be able to use each process. Keep in mind the minimum order quantities associated with each of these things. Sublimation, 10 to 50 units on average. Screen printing, you're going to be looking for 36 per one design. And heat transfers, well, you can order as little as 10 at a time per design and apply them as you go. And it also gives you the flexibility and ability to customize anything and combine all of the tools and resources together. So you can sublimate a blank, you could screen print on it and add some heat transfers to customize player numbers or the customer, they input their name. Now you can use a heat transfer to really apply it to that jersey or to that product that you're creating. So get creative with how you're using these tools, guys. Ultimately, it's gonna be your creativity, your vision, and just ensure that it's getting made to that vision. So the more research and the more sampling and testing that you do ahead of time before you launch it to the customers will guarantee that your customers will be happy with the end product and will get you more sales. So we appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you're a new visitor to this channel, make sure you consider subscribing and turning on those post notification bells to be alerted of future video drops. And more importantly, make sure you check out the links to the resources that we have included and that we mentioned in this video. They're all going to be linked in the description down below, in addition to providing you guys with some free PDFs and trainings that will continue to help you on your journey as you continue to grow. So at this moment, I really want to ask you guys a question. What printing method will you be using on your next collection drop and why? Leave those in the comments down below, and I look forward to speaking to you there.